is my world.
Let's make it count.
I must practice tolerance.
Next.
GSL Season 3. Reversal. 2019 Mountain Dew GSL Season 3. Code S. Reversal.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to day 2 of the round of 4 of the GSL Code S. Today, Trap versus Maru. Maru has won 4 GSL Code S's, is looking to get into yet another finals today. But Trap has been consistently improving.
Yeah, he's been more consistent than anyone this year so far, and is unbelievably strong in the matchup. But of course, if you just kind of discount last season for Maru, where he was eliminated early on by innovation, that's consistency. For 2 years, he's looking to make his 5th GSL out of 6. 5 out of 6.
He did have a disappointing showing in GSL versus the World. Kind of shocking. Not just results, but just the games overall were a little bit weird. But I think we might be able to push that aside here. He's been very consistent in this GSL Code S as well. I think we might see Maru come out on top, but I think Trap winning is absolutely a very realistic possibility.
Yeah, I think that it definitely can go both ways, and there's a lot of ways you can look at it. Of course, we already have Rogue in the finals, so it's just Jin Air left all the way, man. Who cares about these players that aren't on Jin Air?
Jin Air, that company made a good investment with this team because that paid off. All 3 players that are still alive in GSL are all Jin Air. We have Rogue waiting in the finals, possibly going to win his first GSL Code S. And then we have Trap versus Maru here. This is going to be a close one. Again, it's always a little bit different when you have teammate versus teammate. These guys train together. Oftentimes in teams they're living together. They share their theories and thoughts about the game and the meta. So there are going to be a lot of mind games going on here. It might be hard for us to follow. We might have some very obtuse games.
Yeah, that is something that we're going to have to look out for. But we definitely know a lot about how Trap likes to play PvT right now. He's played a lot of them this year. His win rate is unbelievably high. But whenever we say that about a Protoss, Maru comes along and knocks them off their high horse.
Yeah. Maru's been very strong at this matchup, but I think Trap has one of the deepest understandings out of any Protoss in this matchup. Before we go any further, we've got this quick interview. Andy, go ahead.
All right, before we get into the match today, we're going to have an interview with the players playing tonight. And this will be the team kill finals in the season 3. And today we have the 2 junior players right beside us. Hello Trap. Hello Maru.
자, 먼저 조성호 선수입니다.
First of all,
2019년
Trap.
GSL 4연속 4강에 오르면서
This is your 3rd consecutive round of 4.
2위까지
And you're currently the WCS Korean ranking number 2.
혹시 느끼고 계시나요?
Can you feel that your reputation is going high right now?
항상 있어서 그 부분이 너무 좋아요.
I'm just really happy that there's a match every time.
요즘 분위기가 아주 좋은데요.
And you've been in great
올
momentum.
시즌 생애 첫 결승을 눈앞에 두고
And this can be
선수와 시즌
another
1때
finals
만나
for you.
아쉬운 패배 기억이 있습니다.
But you did lose to Maru before in season 1.
또 7전제 대결을 하게 됐는데
You'll be going up against the best of 7 match with Maru. How are you feeling?
어제 자기 전에 제가 졌던 모습을 다시 봤는데
Well, before I slept, I reminisced that time I lost to Maru.
그때랑 지금이랑 좀 다른 것 같아요.
And I think before and now is quite different.
패했던 그 경기를 다시 볼 만큼 조성호 선수의 멘탈은 정말
And
강력하다는
you
게
can tell
느껴집니다.
that your mentality is really strong.
이야기를 나눠볼게요.
Okay, let's speak with Maru now.
무려 9번째 4강입니다.
And this is your 9th round of 4.
8강에서 극한의 피지컬
In the round of 8, you showed
올라오셨잖아요.
immense
오늘의
mechanics
컨디션
and have
어떠신가요?
made it here. How are you feeling today?
그때보다는 좋은 것 같아서.
Well, compared to then, I think my form is better.
워낙 테란전을 잘해가지고.
And since Trap is so good at PvT, I'm a little worried.
그때 8강에서도 엄청난 피지컬이었는데
In the round of 8,
그때보다 더
you've
좋다고
shown really
하십니다.
strong on mechanics, but
시즌 1
we'll
때
see how you play
만났던
tonight.
상대죠. 내가 4대 0으로
In season 1, you did beat him.
또 진에어의
4-0.
선수입니다. 오늘 조성주 선수가 예상하는 스코어
Today,
예상은
what
어떨까요?
will be your score prediction?
스코어요?
The score?
한 4대 3으로 제가 이기지 않을까.
I think I'll win 4-3.
오늘은 박빙 승부를 할 것 같다.
So it's gonna be a neck and neck match.
성호 형이 요즘에 워낙 잘하더라고요.
Since Trap's so good recently, yeah, I believe
그래도
that it's
내가
gonna be the
이긴다는
case.
말씀이신데 조성호 선수는 스코어 예상
And what
어떻게
about you,
하시나요?
Trap? Score prediction.
저는 4대 0만 안 났으면 좋겠네요.
I just hope it's not a 4-0. Whoever
4대
wins.
0만 아니었으면 좋겠다. 자, 먼저 결승에 올라간 이병렬 선수는
And
또
Rog,
어떤 이야기를
who has already
하셨을지
made it to
이
the
부분도
finals.
궁금하거든요.
And we're really
어떤 조언
curious as
이야기
to how he
들려주셨나요?
thinks. Did he give you any advice?
아니요, 그냥 그런 거 없고.
No, he didn't give any advice.
우리가 게임이 잘 되는 것 같아요, 요즘.
And I feel like Rogue is really in
이병렬
good condition right now.
선수는 누가 올라가든 좀 상관없다는 마인드인가 봐요.
So he probably doesn't care who goes up, right?
말하는 걸 보면 저를 원하는 것 같았어요.
Well, I
나를
think he
원하는 것
wants
같다.
me as an
조성주
opponent.
선수는 뭐 그런 거 못 느끼셨나요?
What about you, Maru?
병렬이 형이요? 그냥 자기 올라가가지고 될 대로 되라.
Well, Rogue is just really happy that he made it to the finals right now.
저희 게임에 관심 없어 보여요.
So he doesn't really care
네,
about our
이미
games.
결승에 올라간 이병렬 선수는 아주 행복해
And that's what Rogue
보입니다.
thinks.
팀킬 4강.
So this is another team kill round in the round of 4.
토요일 경기인데도
And we
정말
can tell
많은
that a
분들이
lot of the
현장을
people are
가득
really cheering for this
채워주셨습니다.
match as we have
오늘 경기에
so many
이
fans
많은
here
분들이
today in the venue.
주목하고 계신다는 점이 좀 느껴지시나요?
And can you tell that
네,
this
확실히
game is really hype?
매번 4강 올라올 때마다 느끼는 거지만
Oh yes, I can tell that.
8강 할 때랑 4강 할 때랑 결승할 때랑
The round of 8,
같은 무대지만
the round of
느낌이 다른
4,
것 같아요.
and the finals.
그렇군요.
Although the
그래서
venue is the
저도
same, the
오늘 경기를 이기고
atmosphere is
싶을 것 같은데요.
clearly different.
자, 많은 분들이 기대하고 있는 지네어 그린윙스의 팀킬 4강입니다.
And this is the
서로
team kill
독하게
Generic Green Wings
한마디씩 나눠보고
round
경기를
of 4,
시작하죠.
and we'll see
먼저
how this
조성주
game turns
선수
out.
한마디
But
해주시죠.
before we go, any last word from Maru?
팀원이라서 독하게 하기는 좀 그런 것 같은데.
Since we are same
그래도
team,
제가 시즌 1 때 이겼다
you know, I shouldn't be too harsh.
다시 이기도록.
But I did win before, so I'll try
다시
to win today.
이겨주겠다 이야기하셨는데요. 화답해 주시죠.
What about you, Trap?
그때 제 모습을 보니까 제가 많이
Back then,
있었더라고요.
You know, reflecting on myself, I was pretty bad that time.
여유가 있는 것 같고.
But this time,
그때랑은 다른 모습을
I think I can play comfortably, and I'll try to show a different side
지금도
today.
내가 랭킹도 높고 또 다른
And
모습
since Trap is
보여주겠다
higher
이렇게
up in the
느껴지는데요.
ranking,
자, WCS
he might be
코리아
able to win
랭킹
tonight.
2위와 4위 올해 프로토스와
And the
테라
clash
중
between
가장
the
선전한 두
WCS Korean
선수의
ranking and
대결입니다.
ranking 2 and
자, 과연
4.
어떤 결과가 나올지
And we will see
주목해
how
주시고요.
this match
조성우
turns out
선수 대
today.
조성주 선수의
And let's
4강전
kick off the
지금부터
Trap versus
시작하겠습니다.
Maru match.
조성주 선수의 자신감을 인터뷰에서 이야기했거든요. 오, 이거 올라가요.
성호 형이 테란전을 너무 잘하더라고요.
네.
그래서 좀 무서운데 좀 살살 해줬으면 좋겠어요. 그냥 제가 잘해요, 테란전을.
내가 그냥 잘한다.
한번 상황 올라갑니까?
완벽한데요, 조승우 선수.
Okay, we're moments away from starting this best of 7. I'm really looking forward to seeing what kind of play styles we're going to have here from these two guys. Again, two teammates, the very best in their respective matchups. And of course, they're close buddies. They spend a lot of time talking and discussing the way the game works, helping each other practice for other matches and other tournaments against other top-tier Terrans or Protosses. So what do you have when you have these two players? What do you get in a best of 7 like this? I mean, there's so much room in a series that's going to be this long with this many possible games to try different crazy stuff. But I feel like there's going to be a lot of hard countering going on based off what they already know about each other, which could end up with some very weird games.
Yeah, we should get a lot of mind games in here because they do know each other so well. You know, it's a really hard match to predict, though. You know, going into a best of 7, the entire map pool being used, the strength overall of Trap's PvT, it's the best right now. You know, it's Stats doesn't have the best, Classic doesn't have the best. It's actually this guy. He has the best PvT at the moment. He's just done so well this year. In fact, he only lost to 2 different players this year, one of which was Maru, who eliminated him in the round of 4 Season 1. The other one was the little guy by the name of Big Gabe.
That's right.
And that's no big surprise because when Gabe stands up, it's night, and when Gabe lays down, it's day. So you can't blame him for losing there.
Yeah. Oh, here's our map lineup. GSL Cobalt, Acropolis, Kings Cove, Winter's Gate, Thunder's Bird, Cyber Forest.
Thunder's Bird.
Thunder's Bird.
Kings Cove, Winter's Gate, Thunder's Bird, Cyber's Forest.
One bird, but many thunders here.
Trite's Ton.
Okay, we're ready. GSL Cobalt, map 1, let's go.
GSL's Cobalt.
Cobalt.
Jin Air Green Wings, Trap. Jin Air Green Wings, Maru.
All right. Yeah, I'm not sure what to expect. This is a hilarious first map.
Yeah.
Because whatever happens, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it's hard to take what someone's going to do on this map and then try to package that in with a follow-up build in game 2 or 3 here.
I guess the only way...
From Poland, welcome.
There's a ton of people here today already.
Yeah, it's packed in the studio tonight.
But I want to say that the only way that the results of this game will matter is if it's a pretty standard game with no one getting too far behind early on and Maru wins a macro game. If that happens, we know that Maru's probably going to take the series. Other than that, anything can occur and it doesn't really mean much. Because being a 4-player map of this size, it's so unlike the other maps. It gives us fun games and good quality high skill games, but it's not really applicable.
I like that sign. Yeah, one feature about this map is the sheer distance you have, especially if you have any player starting at the top and the other player in the bottom. Travel distance is quite long, you know?
Yeah, well, if they were cross spawns, do you remember the game? I think it was actually Trap versus Innovation in round of 8. That was
a great game.
Oh, it was amazing, but it was like one of the best played TVPs I've ever seen. And Innovation just, if I recall correctly, he actually ended up losing that one, but because it was so far apart, like he couldn't get an attack off without Trap having like 3 warping rounds before he got there.
You know, the weird thing, especially in this matchup with these races, is that you know, either side can push. It's sort of ambiguous, you know, when you're coming out, who has to attack who, right? Like both sides have timing attacks they can use on each other. But it's also possible you just keep expanding and growing on the map. And there's a lot of room here, especially if they're both spawning at the right, to come over here and expand towards the left side of the map, whether it's top or bottom.
That is true. By the way, we already see mind games here. The way he held the Adept on the ramp is not a normal thing that we see. And then he shaded it out at such a time that the Reaper, like he brought it along the edge, so the Reaper shouldn't have been able to see it, but I think the Reaper did barely see it, and then Maru jumped right up. So I feel like we're already seeing a little bit of them trying to trick each other here.
Yeah, well, and that's probably the only way that you're going to win with these two. I think if it comes to straight up macro and standard play, it's up in the air, right? I don't know, unless there's, you know, and this is always a possibility, there's something that goes on in practice where we might find out that either Trap or Maru tend to win more in standard textbook games. But I would just imagine when you have this much research you can do on your opponent because of your close relationship to them, there's going to be a lot of odd openings like this. And I think we're already seeing that now.
Yeah, looks like we'll end up getting that Reaper as well. Phoenix is being made and pooled. A Cyclone going to be popping out, as well as a Viking, so some serious anti-air here. Obviously, we all know that Trap likes Stargate, so of course Maru knows that very well.
Okay, the Adepts are going to come up here now. We've got 2 more gates coming down. And I don't think we're going to see anything severe coming up here. These are just pokes in to try to see if you can get any read on what the opposing player is doing. He hasn't shown those Phoenixes yet. As you said, Trap is known for going Stargate, but he's going to wait, I think, a little bit before he brings those out.
nothing looks really out of the ordinary, to be honest, on either side. Third base coming up. It's just straight up a Phoenix opener. I'll be excited to see what he can do with Phoenixes. No, I guess he's not showing them too late, but Maru has already decided to go into standard bio play, it looks like. Throwing up a couple turrets here as well. Phoenix is not doing too much as of yet. Maru has always been a very strong player against Phoenix openings, by the way, in particular. I feel like where a lot of Terrans take harassment damage quite heavily from it, he's very good at defending as well as pushing out at the right time. Because there's like certain break points where the Phoenixes don't do as well.
Right. Especially if Marine counts are high enough and you have everything put together like that.
Yeah.
Now, we have two different directions this game is going for each player. We have Trap, the Protoss, trying to expand here and take his third base. He's keeping a little bit of pressure on. But Maru, we don't see a third CC over here. He's just banking up, getting stim. He'll probably be trying to push out pretty soon here. And so it should be Trap on the defense in a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to dive here and try to get the Viking. The Viking actually gets pulled back in time and almost there loses his Phoenix. That was truly tit for tat.
Yeah, 5 more gateways coming here. And this can be backed by the third Nexus, which is finished up here and is now being mined from. I think it should have already been clear that this was going to be a timing attack here. I mean, from everything that Trap scouted. The question now is Trap going to be in good shape to hold this off? This is going to sync up as Stim and 1-1 are finishing up. Now, the gateways are finishing, so there's going to be an additional 5 waves of units coming out.
Yeah, I don't know if this will do too much. He should be expanding behind it as well into a couple more racks as really get this flowing. A very good build from Maru overall. That Raven is really quite crucial here, as well as those Widow Mines.
Here come 2 more medevacs to merge with the rest of this army. We have Trap in a defensive position for now. He's scanning right now. Maru's basically scanning ahead of himself to make sure he can get his army in the right position. He lands the Viking, deciding that this is going to be a fight on the ground, lays a Widow Mine, and attacks into the second, which appears to be completely naked.
Yeah, look at this. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
For the Nexus throw. Oh, the anti-armor missile is insanity right there. Even throws down an auto turret. And Maru is getting the most ridiculous value right now.
I gotta say, this was a really straightforward attack. I didn't expect this to do as well as it did, but Trap devoted all of his defenses at his third base here. It looks like he's eventually gonna hold this off, but not after losing 20 probes.
20 probes go down.
20 probes. A lot of the important units there for Protoss were picked off as well. And that was absolutely a victory for Maru. And it was completely worth him taking his third base later because his attack succeeded so well. And now we see Trap scrambling to get back on his feet in this game.
Yeah, he's going to have to go overtime on producing those probes. In the meantime, Maru, he's just powering up even more, adding his additional barracks. His third command center is done, so his economy looking stronger right now than Protoss's, which is not something you almost ever say in this matchup.
And, you know, this is fairly straightforward, I think, for the Terran. I think in any StarCraft game, when you have a really big victory like that in a fight, is you just continue to stay ahead and you wait for the Protoss to try to make their move, because now this game is the Protoss's problem. The Terran has basically leveraged his position, his strategy, his opening. And from here we want to see, okay, what exactly does Trap try to do? Because Trap needs a win here. Trap needs something to balance this out. It appears he's flirting with the idea of poking out here. I think there's enough Marauders here that getting too close is already a risk, since the concussive shells slow you down as you retreat.
Well, picks off a couple units as he does force Trap back. You know, kind of interesting seeing those 2 Archons there. Not that that's bad. Those add a hell of a lot to the army. The army would be super brittle without them. But I wonder if he's looking to do something like an Archon charge attack. Yeah, look at that, another Archon. So he's foregoing Psystorm in favor of adding some muscle to his army.
Yes.
And I think you can't really blame him, but I don't see a window for this to work.
Yeah, I like the idea. I think it's not a bad idea, but I don't know if the application of it's going to be very good. But it's, you know, the best he can do. He's making lemons with lemonade here. Or,
whoa, that would be a trick.
Look at what I just did there.
Lemons with lemonade,
if you could take lemonade and turn it into lemons?
That would be crazy.
What could you do with Kool-Aid then, Artosis?
Make it into cool?
Yeah, maybe. Now, as you can see, the fight's going pretty well here for Maru. I mean, Maru now is chasing this army over here. There's no way for the army to easily get back home. And this...
That should be game.
Yeah, I could actually imagine Trap just tapping out here.
Yeah.
There it is, GG.
All right, that was a very strong play from Maru. Obviously, he hit his build very sharply, and Trap, you know, he went at Phoenixes, wasn't able to get that damage done, which, you know, I think that going Phoenixes against Maru, you have to be very careful with that choice. Because he really always blocks it well and never will... He's not one of these guys who's like, he went Phoenixes. Time to be even more sneaky about how I boost my medevacs run. No, Maru doesn't really do that. So that can be a bit of a risk.
Even if you can take your lemonade and turn it into lemon Zartosis, the question is then what are you going to do with those lemons?
Turn them into lemonade.
Exactly. You should have turned them back
circle
into
of
lemonade.
life.
Yeah, the circle of lemonade.
Circle of lemonade, my God.
Yeah. We're going to go to Acropolis. I think, Artosis, you were completely right when you said that whatever they do in Game 1 doesn't really, it should not be representative of what either player is going to do in the rest of the games, because now that GSL Cobalt's out of the way, that's our very weird map.
Yeah.
That map is not like any of the other maps. And let's see if we can get a better game here from Trap this time around. Again, I want to go back to that first attack we saw there from Maru. I thought Trap was going to be a little bit more ready. He was literally completely out of position. Anyways, Game 2 on Acropolis is ready. Let's see if Trap can turn this around.
Jin Air Green Wings, Trap. Jin Air Green Wings, Maru.
All right, we have a Trap going for the wall at his natural. So just a little something to point out there. Of course, that can be extremely dangerous if Maru just randomly chose to proxy you this game.
Which he's known to do.
Yeah.
He was probably, in the modern era of StarCraft 2, one of the players who did this the most.
The king.
Big audience tonight, by the way. Or today, excuse me.
Well, they should be here. I mean, it's a beautiful day for some StarCraft. I believe it's cloudy outside. Don't even remember, because the only thing I could see in my vision walking here was Maru versus Trap.
The weather's definitely been better in Seoul, though.
Oh, it's cooling off a little bit. But, you know, this is something that could become legendary, right? If Maru beats Trap here tonight, goes on at finals, wins 5 GSLs, MVP who?
Yeah. I mean,
Innohution? All right.
Throgorok? I mean,
Throgorok. It's so stupid.
I mean, we are going to be in a different time period here if Maru can win 5-man. I mean, that's going to be so huge. Because the sheer amount of dominance that we'll be having from a Korean, we just haven't had it like that in a long time.
Well, we've never had it like 5 GSLs. No. We've had it like 4 GSLs, but not in this succession either.
No. And that was Sue, who's just been dying in those GSLs. But what are your thoughts on the probe over there in the upper right?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that's for exactly. That could be for just about anything, to be honest. Even the thing is, he made a full wall, right? So it's probably just good to have a probe out on the map so you can do various things, scout if you decide you need pylon or something like that, or to high tech.
If the adept gets killed off or something, you have some way to spot for it, you mean?
Yeah, also the Reaper is kind of out there and can always catch you if you try to send something additional out. Anyways, I don't think it's too impactful as of right now. Another Phoenix opening here from Trap.
Yeah, so Trap sticks with Phoenixes. We should really watch for this in each of the games and see if he continues, basically approaching the matchup in this way.
Well, I think Phoenix's is one of those builds that if you're better than your opponent, it's so strong.
Right, it's hard for them to get a leg up on you.
Yeah, but that's a funny thing about StarCraft is that like different builds are really good in different situations. Like there are all sorts of builds that are great on ladder that suck in tournaments and vice versa.
Very true.
There's all sorts of builds that if your opponent is better than you, it's really smart, and if you're better than your opponent, it's really dumb, and vice versa. And I'm not going to say that if your opponent's better than you, Phoenixes are necessarily bad, but it's just like if your opponent is... Phoenixes don't scale that well, despite what Roddy may want to believe. Eventually the Terran gets an army where the Phoenixes can't really engage very well, and then you're looking for things like, oh, can I pull mines? Maybe I can catch reinforcements. You know, maybe all my armies engaging at one time, I lift up some Marauders or something like that. And it's like, yeah, they still have use, but for their cost, not as much as they had in other situations. If your opponent continues to try to harass, sending around little groups, Phoenixes are basically the best unit in the game at that point. But, you know, in these bigger fights, it becomes a little bit more iffy.
Yeah, they're units that have to be used. They're not just things you add in. Like, let's say an Immortal or, you know, a Stalker where it's like, okay, we're going to put a few more of these here. When the fight happens, these units are going to do their jobs. Archons are like that as well. Not that they can't be microed and used more, but Phoenixes have to be used in very specific ways and at specific times, and you have to have a lot of sense of what your opponent is trying to do and where he's trying to go and how you punish him. Now, we're seeing 2 Phoenixes come in on each side here now.
Yeah, this is kind of cool.
And they're actually going to merge in now. And they're going to go and assassinate the Raven, which is actually exactly what we were talking about. So he knew the Raven was going to be there. He sent them in at different angles to force a spread there on the ground army of Maru. He wasn't sure where exactly was the point he was getting attacked from. And once he noticed that the Raven was exposed, he went in there and killed it. And the Raven, particularly if the Terran is 2 base powering up, the Raven is a very important unit because its spells give you the ability to really like leverage a fight. So to take that out, of course, getting rid of detection as well. I mean, a Raven's sort of a fix-all unit. That was a great play there by Trap.
Yeah, the anti-armor missile is so powerful. So really great that he did clean that up, but he lost 2 Phoenixes doing it, so it wasn't free. Looks like Maru getting ready to move out a little bit.
Nice little
Seems like they're both doing very similar builds to each other. Yeah, just canceling that lock on. Nice, smooth micro move there from Trap.
Scan comes down. We'll see if Maru decides to push out or not. I think losing the Raven will make him think twice, but Maru known to be pretty solid with his aggression. He can definitely take fights where it looks like he won't win, and then as the fight goes on for a few more seconds, it's clear he is going to win anyways because his control and decision-making is just so good.
Well, I want to point out that last game, he didn't win because of anti-armor missile. He was going to do massive damage no matter what. Obviously, anti-armor missile helps. Okay,
right.
I'm not saying that, but
it was a lot of the positioning.
Yeah, he kind of got into a good spot. He had a good amount of units at the moment. Okay, Trap's doing a good job though, right? He's tagging. His Phoenixes did do a bit more this game. And the way that Maru's hawing and hemming, I don't believe we're going to see an actual engagement. I think he has to go home.
It looked like it was more of a pressure approach to try to get Protoss to maybe behave more defensively.
Yeah.
He also was ready for a little counterattack there. He had the Cyclone back at the 3rd base ready to defend. And so Trap, identifying that Maru was bluffing as far as attacking, he expands, trying to keep ahead. Now, I know that we were saying in Game 1, what we see in Game 1 will not really look like the rest of these games, but so far, idea-wise, this is looking exactly like Game 1. Trap, Phoenix is expanding, trying to stay ahead in bases. Maru seemed to wanted the option of a timing attack, but the Raven was killed, so playing a little bit more conservatively.
Yeah, this is actually extremely interesting. I'm learning a lot about Trap and what he's brought here today, because he just made a bunch of Archons. So it seems like that was always going to be his plan. Because this build, it got off basically without a hitch this time, whereas last time he lost 20 probes. So he's got this really strong ground force right now. It's really a ground-pounding army plus Phoenixes, which can help against harassment, that Maru's unwilling to do at the moment, which is obviously very smart. It looks like from here, he'll probably go into Colossus tech, which obviously is going to add a hell of a lot to this army.
And on that note, it's I'm so surprised, to be honest, just coming into this. I thought Trap was going to try, and I know we're only in game 2 here. I thought he was going to be maybe a little bit more aggressive or crazy against Maru. I'm pleasantly surprised and impressed. Oh, I thought that was going to get the Oracle. That he's very confident playing Maru, of all people, in a straight-up macro game, since Maru is a lot of times identified as basically the best all-round endgame Terran.
Well, I think that right now, Trap is absolutely the best macro Protoss for this matchup.
Yeah.
So I'm not too surprised to see him playing in this way. One thing I do want to point out is he's actually on Disruptors instead of Colossus, which Disruptors have gained a lot of popularity lately. We've seen Trap utilize them wonderfully in his late-game armies. This army doesn't super support Disruptors, but it's, you know, as long as you micro it correctly, you can make it work.
Yeah, if he gets the right shots off on that, it's going to be very, very good. Oh, hold on. We have a little counterattack coming in here. I don't see much to defend here. Good usage of the Phoenixes, picking up a few stray Marauders. Definitely a victory there for Trap.
That was really good.
Especially with these Zealots doing damage over here to those SCVs. Again, it's still Maru on 3 bases. Trap continues to grow. Maru does have more overall supply, but the economy for Trap is absolutely better here. And with the Disruptors, if he can get in close range, I think he's got a real option of trying to deny this fort. He can get a little foothold outside of the 4th base, and then try to chuck in Disruptor shots.
Yeah, well, he has 4 Disruptors, so the world is his oyster. And, you know, he definitely has some potential here. Obviously, once the Planetary gets up, that's something you don't really want to engage anymore. The Zealots trying to do some little harassment on the side. Maru's defense very, very strong thus far. Look at that, 6 Disruptors. He's making a 7th.
Now, when you have this many Disruptors, you can generate a no man's land where they can't ever cross. And you kind of edge that forward. It's a mobile no man's land, so to say. Nice shot. Now, Maru's hitting from 2 sides there. Oh! Oh, excellent dodge there by Maru. The splitting here is so difficult.
Oh my god, he's getting some insane Disruptor shots this game so far. Just crazy shots, and suddenly Maru's army supply has really plummeted. Throws down a decent EMP there. He's done some decent damage to the Disruptors, but hasn't been able to pick many off. I believe he only killed 1.
Yeah, there's still enough Disruptors. All of them took damage, but he's able to continue to press forward now. Now he's regrouped. He's rotating back in here to the 3rd base.
Yeah, this army of Trap is getting so strong. And the thing is, Maru engaged it right the first time by flanking it. But here, now that it's coming from one direction, it's so much harder.
Yeah, he's basically out of position. And as you can see here, if Protoss can hold his ground, you can continue to push those disruption balls through there. Now he backs up to warp in more and also reinforce.
All right, coming in once again. Here goes those Disruptors down. Good splits from Maru.
Oh my god, I think Trap's going to come in here with a killing blow.
Yeah.
We have some EMPs going down here, but with no attacking army remaining here for Maru, there's just not much else he can do. The SCVs are going down. More SCVs pulled to try to come in here and help out, but I just don't see enough infantry over here for Maru.
No, it looks like he is almost out at this point. The Stalker reinforcement coming in, some Zealots as well, blinking forward, taking down these Liberators, and that is that. GG.
GG.
Trap tying it up 1-1.
Okay. Maru definitely a frustrating loss there, but Trap able to pull off what he was trying to do in game 1 and just going for a Phoenix opening into a macro game, getting into a better position, tech into his own unusual style, which was a lot of Archons initially, and then into Disruptors to push forward. And Maru just did not have an answer. He had an idea, which was trying to flank, but Trap held that off. After he held off the flank, there was just no way for Maru to win that fight. Trap was able to push forward to those disruption balls, and that was it. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, Trap versus Maru, game number 3 in this best of 7.
To the gates of Babylon.